Hi everybody, welcome to Ecodriver. My name is Helmut. Today we go out on our Ecodriver test loop to find out about the consumption of the Mazda CX-30 X186 all-wheel drive. As the name suggests, it's the all-wheel drive, and we have the 186 horsepower, 137 kilowatt Skyactive-X engine. That's the shiny new thing from Mazda where they combine gasoline and diesel, ways of working. So this is supposed to improve the efficiency, and we'll see what we can do with this car. WLTP consumption is 6.6 liters per 100 kilometers and NEPD is 5.6. I assume I will stay below 6, so 5 point something. Maybe we can beat the NEPD. The unladen weight is 1,527 kilograms, 3,359 pounds. In case you're on my channel for the first time, we do the same loop every time, and you can see it here. We start at the southern edge of Innsbruck, and it starts with an uphill section, about 6 kilometers, 4 miles, followed by some rolling hills. The downhill, which brings us back to our starting altitude, some open roads with, we go through some villages there, but still speeds up to 100 kilometers an hour. Then we have a motorway, although we are restricted there to only 100 kilometers an hour due to environmental laws. And at the end we have a city section of around 17-18 kilometers, 11-12 miles. After every section we check the overall and sectoral consumption, and at the end we analyze the whole trip. The cameras will be on all the time in order to show how am I driving, so that you can see what I do to achieve the consumption that we will have at the end, and B, to show that there is no need to go slow in order to be efficient. If I go 30 or 35, that's probably because there is a 30 or 35 kilometers an hour limit. Or if I go 50 or 55, when you see there's nothing around me, that's probably because there is a 50. So that's why the camera is on all the time, for you to see the speed limits and the speed I'm doing. Weather today, it's cold, but it's fantastic. We have almost no clouds. You can see the area I'm driving, and I hope you'll enjoy the trip, and I'll talk to you later. You've seen on the first kilometers already that not the Ecodriver, in his attempt to save fuel, is the obstacle on the road. We're coming to the end of the hill now, end of the hill climb, and when we go around the corner we see here 10.9 liters per 100 kilometers. This vehicle is equipped with an automatic gearbox and also with steering wheel pedals, and but what I've seen so far, it's not really necessary to use it extensively, as the gearbox reacts very sensitively on the right foot, on what the gas pedal is doing. So if I lift the gas pedal just a little bit, it shifts into the next gear. Although it's only a 6-speed automatic, it seems to work quite well so far. We're now coming to the hilly section, and here if you know my videos, you know what I'm saying now. It's important to play with the road, use the change of gradient to your advantage, to use a descent to build up some momentum, and to go and take this momentum into the next hill, into the next flat section. And if it's going up, maybe not trying to maintain the speed at all costs, just reduce the speed a little bit, and therefore save energy. At the end of the hills, the board computer says 8.4 liters per 100 kilometers. On the way down, it's important to use the momentum. We have two flat sections to use in the momentum that we built up beforehand to go through those flatter sections and therefore avoid the active use of fuel. Hopefully we don't have some slow drivers or buses or tractors in front of us, but we'll see how it goes. At the end of the descent, we see here 5.9 liters per 100 kilometers. I had to use the gas pedal a little bit on the flat sections as the braking of the engine was there. It wasn't strong, but it was there, and it reduced the speed so that we had to use the gas. But that's not a big problem. We're now approaching the open road section. We have two sections with 100 kilometers, and the rest is through villages, 70 kilometers an hour speed limit, and so on. I have to say, this car is really excellent to drive. The engine gearbox combination works really well. It's very smooth. The only thing that concerns me a little bit is that the fact that we only have 6 gears. That's a 6-speed automatic, and it might well be that on the motorway the revs go up a little bit higher, and we will see what effect this has on the overall consumption. At the end of the open road section, 5.6 liters per 100 kilometers. We're now coming to the motorway, and here we have a restriction of 100 kilometers an hour. It's 62 miles per hour. At the end of the motorway, we see 5.5 liters per 100 kilometers. Well, that's a surprise. I didn't expect that. We had 5.6 when we approached the motorway, and now it's 5.5. So that's really good. We're now coming to the city section of our test. In the city, it's important to keep the car in motion, to try to avoid change of speed, try braking, possibly avoid a standstill, as it means you have to re-accelerate the car afterwards, and that just costs a lot of energy. And if you accelerate, try to keep the revs down and the load high, as the burning process in the combustion engine is the most efficient when the load is high. We're coming to the end of our real-life consumption test on the Ecodriver loop with the Mazda CX-30. What I need to say is this car is equipped with start-stop automatic, but it didn't work. Might be because of the outside temperatures, or because the car just has 1,000 kilometers on the clock. Some manufacturers don't allow the engine to go on and off for short periods for the first couple of 100,000 whatever kilometers. So this might have cost us maybe the 1/10 of liters per 100 kilometers, which would have brought us to the NEPD consumption. But still, we have here 5.7 liters per 100 kilometers. Yeah, that's not too bad. And now we have a look at the details. Okay, let's have a look at the detailed sectoral and overall consumption of the Mazda CX-30 Skyactive-X. In case you're interested how this Skyactive-X technology works exactly, then I'll put a link in the description box below. There's somebody who explains this much better than I do and knows much more about this. We see that the consumption, especially in the motorway, is very good. Not surprisingly good, but very good. On the hills it's okay, and in the city 6.3. Here we probably wasted a little bit of the efficiency, as the start-stop automatic didn't work for whatever reason. Outside temperature, overall distance of the car so far it only had around 1,000 kilometers. But overall 5.7 liters per 100 kilometers. This is where I expected this to be and where we ended up. There's one thing: some people claim that the figures I give are not realistic because they come from the board computer and they're not the real tanked figures. But firstly, not all cars show much better consumption on the board computer than in reality. On the contrary, German ADAC found out that around 75% of the board computers show a higher consumption than the real one. And secondly, I own the Mazda CX-5. You see on top of this table here. I drove it myself for 3 years. It's now in my company fleet, and the difference between board computer and reality is about 0.1 to 0.15 liters per 100 kilometers. And if I take all the technical data I got from this CX-30, then I would have guessed that I will end up around 5.6 liters after this trip before I started. So this seems to be rather realistic. And apart from that, I take the car from the dealership. In this case, there was a remaining distance in the tank of about 27 kilometers. So I had to fill up with around 7 liters or so, and I did this loop. And it's simply not possible financially for me. It's not in my budget for this project to fill up every tank for every trip, and I do once or twice a week. So it's simply not possible to do that. So I try to verify the accuracy of the board computer on Sprit Monitor DE, where real users of any car can enter the details, how much they have filled in the tank, how much the board computer says. So I try to verify it this way, and for me this seems to be a pretty correct figure. I have to say, irrespective of the consumption, normally I don't do this, but with this car I have to. It's just an extremely well designed car. It's well engineered. It's nice to drive. It's very harmonic to drive. The petrol engine and the gearbox work extremely well together. Maybe if I could wish for something, then I would like to have a gearbox with 8 gears. But hey, that's life. It still works very well, and this is really a very well crafted and designed and engineered car. If you want to know how to drive ICE cars more efficiently in general, I have put my video with the 5 tips up here, and down here you'll find the playlist with all the consumption tests with petrol cars. If you're generally interested in what I'm doing, feel free to subscribe to this channel, and if you hit the notification bell, you won't miss any new video. That's it for the Mazda CX-30. Thanks for watching, take care, see you next time.